Hello and welcome. On this page, we want to update or make some changes. Previously, we displayed the 10-day weather forecast because we were able to get the forecast from Open Weather Map API. But right now, the API has been changed and the API has been updated. And because we are using the free plan, we no more have access to the daily forecast. We can only get hourly or 3 hours forecast. So previously we had here displaying this current weather information. Then after that, we added another Eon card to display the 10-day weather forecast. But as you can see, I don't have any Eon card here to display the 10-day weather forecast. The reason is because I commented out that part. So if I go to my code, you can see here, I commented this part out. The reason I commented it is because it's throwing an error. We are no more able to get the daily forecast. You can see here 10 days forecast. So what we need to do first, before we make any changes to our code, we need to go to the Open Weather Map API. And I believe most of you might be experiencing this error as well. You are not able to display the daily forecast properly. So I will show you the reason why. So now go to Open Weather Map API. So go to your Open Weather Map API. So once you are on the openweathermap.org page, you can sign in. We'll sign in here. I'm already signed in. So you can see, I'll click on these API keys. Click here. Now this is going to take me to the page where I have my API keys. I can collect my API key. But there's something very important I want to show you. You can click here on this billing plans tab. You can see here, click on billing plans. Now if you go to the table we have, you can see we are using the free plan. The API key that we have is for the free plan. Now you can see that we can make calls, 60 calls per minute, not more than that. The data refresh delay is about 7,200. Now you can see here we have only access to the hourly forecast. That is 5-day hourly forecast. We don't have access to the daily forecast anymore. And previously we had access to it. That was why we were displaying the 10-day forecast, also 16-day forecast. But right now we can't get the daily forecast. That is why I commented out this part of the code. And then what we need to do, if I go back right here, we can only use the hourly forecast to get the 5-day hourly forecast. We can only have access to this data. So what we simply need to do is just to make use of this. So click on the API tab right here. Now I'm only looking at this here because we are making use of the free plan. So you can click on API right here. And now you can see we are displaying the current weather data. We have no problem with that. Previously, we were getting the daily forecast. We were just displaying 10-day daily forecast. But now we can't do that on the free plan. We can only display the 5-day, 3-hour forecast. So we are going to change or replace this code we have here with the 5-day, 3-hour forecast. Now you can click on the API doc right here. And if you scroll through, you can see we can get the data by city name, by city ID, by geographical coordinates, by zip code. But in our own code, we were getting the forecast and the current weather data by the geographical coordinate. That is the longitude and latitude. So let's go into our project. Now go to your providers. That is the weather.ts, which is the weather provider class we created. Right here, weather provider. I have my API key. Now if we go back to what we have here, we created this get position method. This is from Ionic, and we're using the async await. This is going to return the position of the user, and inside here we are going to have the latitude and the longitude of the user's location. We are using this method inside our app.component.ts. You can see right here we are getting the longitude and the latitude. Then we have this current weather. This current weather method takes in two properties or arguments, the longitude and the latitude. It returns an observable. Here in this first HTTP get, we are getting the current weather data for the location. We don't have problem with this, but where we have problem is with this forecast info. That is this.http.get. Previously, we were getting the daily forecast, and you can see the number of days is 10. We set it here as 10. But like I showed you from the open weather map page, we don't have access to daily forecast. We can only get 5-day, 3-hour forecast. Now, if I save this now, come back here, uncomment this code, uncomment this, save, then go to the browser. You're going to see that I'll get, now you can see it's not displaying properly. If I open my console, you can see I have errors right here. You can see unauthorized failed to load from api.openweathermap.org. So we are getting errors because of this page or this URL we have right here. Let me comment this here. So what we need to do simply is to fix this. Instead of returning the 10-day forecast, we are going to return the 5-day daily, instead the 5-day 3-hour forecast. Let's go back here. You can see 5-day 3-hour forecast. 5-day 3-hour forecast. So this is what we want to return. To do this is very simple. We are still going to use the same geographic coordinates. Let me copy this, open it in a new tab right here. So here you can see the URL. All we just need to do is call the forecast, then latitude, longitude, then add the API key. We just need to remove this daily property from here. In order for us to use the 5-day 3-hour forecast, we need to remove this daily property. So I'll take the daily property from here, and I'm going to change this count to 5 instead of 10. I'm going to count it to 5. So it's going to return the weather forecast for or after every 3 hours. So right now what I'm going to do is, since we are using this here, let's open our app.component.ts. We are using the current weather here. So let me do a console.log right here. Then I read console.log the response. I'm going to save this. What I have done here is simple. Let's go back to the browser, clear this part. So now you can see what we have. But here what we're interested in is the data we have in the console. We're getting from app.component.ts. So if I open this up, the first data, remember we are using this observable.fork join. Now this is, we are passing in two HTTP GET requests. This is going to return a single response. So we are passing two requests into the fork join method. It's going to concatenate them and then return one single response. And inside the response, we have the information for current weather and the information for the forecast weather. That is why we have inside this array, we have the information for current weather and forecast. Now the object at index 1, that is where we have the forecast. You can see inside the forecast, we have this list property, which is an array, and it contains 5 data. Now this is the data that we are interested in. Now if I expand the first one, right here you can see we have these properties, dt, then dt underscore test. Now if you look at this dt underscore test, you can see the date and the time. Now I'm going to expand the next property in the array. Now if you look at the next property in the array, the same date but different time, which is they have 3-hour difference. Then I'll open the third one, the same dates but different time. So you can see now that the time here, they differ by 3. We now have a way of getting the 5-day 3-hour forecast instead of just getting errors because we don't have access to the 16-day daily forecast. What we are going to do next is just to display this data right here inside this Eon card that we've commented.